Greetings, pals and gals. It's Duckville here. I have a TvT, a little bit different to the normal. We haven't actually seen too many TvTs as of late. I don't know why. I can't actually think of why. I don't know. Anyway, I'm just looking at our at one of our players down on the bottom side here on Heavy Rain, a map which has been added to the last season's ladder pool, if I remember correctly, and then has seen its way into this season as well. It is from Flash B, SirElgben. Elgben? Yeah, that works. And his opponent up towards the top side of the map is our blue Terran player here from Team Felix. It is Dzerzhinsky. So some of you people will know that Dzerzhinsky is a Terran player who loves a bit of mech. He loves a bit of mech indeed, like in all of the matchups. I'm not talking just, TvT and TvC, also TvP as well. Hasn't been streaming or playing for quite a while because he was moving house or something to that effect, and did not have a PC for some time, so he has been a little bit AFK and has now started to make his way back. I have been watching a bit of his stream lately. SirElgben, a player who I think he normally plays random. I have seen this guy before, but I can't remember if he plays random normally or not. But just sort of that the fact that he said that he was Terran kind of signals to me that he might actually play random as well. But I don't know. Random's a bit of a weird thing sometimes because I play random personally when I am laddering, and it can be a really weird thing. Sometimes if you random Zerg against a Zerg, it becomes this really weird situation of, you know, do I defend against cheese? Because a lot of people think that random players will always cheese every game, or do I play economically? All this kind of stuff. It's really weird, but I don't know. Enough about playing random. Let's talk about TvT. This is a matchup that has been changing a little bit over time, but not sort of a massive change like we've seen in in some of the various Zerg versus Zerg strategies or PvP strategies as well, not to mention the various normal matchups themselves. TvT has obviously, with the changes to the vehicle and ship upgrades, mech has became a little bit bigger of a thing. It was originally something which people would try, and if you had the skills for a little bit of mech, you could sometimes make it work, and it's a pretty cool strategy. Overall, mech should generally be a bit of a better strategy, personally I feel, than bio, but as you can see, it looks as if SirElgben is going to be doing a double Rax Reaper here. He's already got one Reaper out, blocks Dzerzhinsky from scouting out the second Rax. Yeah, nicely positioned there. I really do like that spot. Might have to use that one myself. Normally I put it back here, or maybe sort of over to the side, depending on how cheesy I'm feeling. But Dzerzhinsky is going to open up with a reactor first. He got a couple of Marines out, does have one SCV here to tank. Now, this is something which very rarely you get to see in TvT. Some people will sometimes throw this SCV out here. This guy's there to soak up some shots from the Reaper because, of course, a single Reaper does have a pretty good time against Marines when they're in low numbers, of course, due to the regen. This guy, he's taken a few shots, he's going to head back out, he's going to heal himself up. These Marines here did not take any shots just yet, but that's what that SCV was there for. This SCV took a little bit of the damage and said, that's cool, you can hurt me, I can repair if need be, or perhaps at least the Marines will get a few shots off on the Reapers. But with Dzerzhinsky having to face up against a double Reaper play, this might get a little bit hairy at the start. We'll have to see how much damage is done. Just before it does go on any further, of course, please do make sure you have subscribed to the channel here. Please do also share the videos. It's always nice to see when people are, sharing on Twitter and sharing on Facebook pages, and also jumping onto my Facebook page as well. It's facebook.com/duckfield.casting, where you can find all the sorts of info on stuff that I am doing, whether it be StarCraft 2, Dota 2, or even Natural Selection 2, which is going to be coming up quite a lot. Yeah, hopefully all of you guys are staying tuned as much as you can. I am trying to get content out as much as I can. What are these Marines doing, Dzerzhinsky? What was that? A little bit of miss micro there from our blue Terran from Felix, but he does have two Hellions out now. Should be enough to hold back the small Reaper force that is out. Of course, the big advantage of the Reapers, especially on this map, is that there is just a massive cliff that you can sort of sit on and try and well, that you have to cover if you're the defending person. If you're the attacking person, as is SirElgben, you have a lot of room to jump up into and take advantage of. So these are the some considerations that you have to make in TvT. Is alright. So this map, it's got a lot of space. There's a lot of cliff space. I have to be careful of Reapers. On a map like Daedalus Point, not so much. There's not as much cliff space for Reapers to jump into. So on that particular map, it's a lot easier to use a little bit more of an economic kind of style as opposed to opening up with a reactor or something like that. So that's just some of the small nuances of TvT, especially on this map. Also, guys, I forgot to mention, this is in obviously the latest patch, which does include the fact that the Control F, the follow current unit selection, is broken. So unfortunately, I cannot, like I'm pressing it right now, I cannot follow those Marines because for some reason the ladder maps are broken, and Blizzard has unfortunately not fixed it just yet. Apparently they're working on it, but no fix just for the moment. But that also does mean that, we have also the fact that I do have music on as well. Sorry, I was trying to remember what my other thing I was going to mention was. Just a bit of housekeeping at the start of videos every now and then. I do have the music on. If you like the music, let me know, and I'll try and keep it on. It is meant to be Brood War music. Why isn't it not the Brood War music right now? I don't know. That's really weird. Because this is the Terran SC2 music, isn't it? I'm pretty sure it is. I don't know. Anyway, Dzerzhinsky's going to head out with some Hellions. We've got a large buyer force here from SirElgben. He's sticking with a buyer play for the moment. Does have of course, he does have the 2 racks that he started out with. Going to get some medevacs coming out here, and he's going to look to just play it safe for the moment. Does have all of these units here. In particular, keep in mind these Marauders are quite strong, quite powerful, and they will be able to deflect the Hellions for the time being. There's no way Dzerzhinsky is going to get in here. You can just look at the concave that has been set up. SirElgben will be able to crush anything that comes into this position here, so he'll be nicely defended for now. Dzerzhinsky, he's got his own defense up back at home, a Widowmine, a couple of Marines are here, and also a secondary Widowmine, just to make sure that there's no sneaky stuff coming along. But his factories are now on the way. We're going to have a total of 3 for the moment. We'll probably see that go up to a total of 5, and then we'll see how he wants to play it from there, because of course in TvT, unlike some of the other matchups, wow, those Hellions just got absolutely disintegrated. Dzerzhinsky unfortunately not on the ball with that one. He did lose all of those Hellions. He now loses a lot of map presence, not to mention if a possible attack was coming. All he has at the moment are 2 tanks and a couple of Marines. It's not exactly the best defensive force, but if he can take advantage of the high ground, then that'd be quite nice. But as I was mentioning, normally with TvT in mech, you can be a little bit more aggressive than some of the other mech matchups. Like if you're in mech TvP, you have to be very careful. You can be aggressive, but you still have to be very careful, because one wrong move and a Protoss is going to smash through you. TvZ can also be a little bit aggressive, but personally I kind of feel like the defensive kind of styles work much better. Obviously Reality and Soul Key, if you're aware of what I'm talking about with that, that's a bit of a defensive style there that we're talking about, and that kind of style is probably what we'll see out of Dzerzhinsky, just sort of playing it safe, being very careful on the map here. And SirElgben, he looks to drop inside the main base. One of the medevacs does get inside. The Widowmine did not get a shot off, unfortunately. Hellions are here to defend, and they should be okay with some good micros. Just still got to be careful at the front. There are a lot of units there. The tanks inside the main will help to defend against that drop. And despite some decent harassment here from SirElgben, I'm a little bit disappointed he didn't at least, just load up an attempt to drive his way inside the natural base here. There's a lot of exposed area back at the backside of the natural. Did you know you can actually build a CC at the back here? Nathanius mentioned that while we were casting last week. I had no idea. I'd never even thought about that. You could have like a sneaky expansion that's actually at your natural. It'd be crazy to do that. And someone's like, oh my god, is this guy expanding or what? But anyway. SirElgben does get a 3rd base up with all of that aggression that he put on. That is a really good part of what he has done. He's put some aggression on. He's feigned to his opponent that he's going to be pushing forwards, but what he's actually done is expanded to the 3rd. And as a buyer player, you really do need to be doing this kind of thing constantly. Buyer is a very mobile kind of style. It does need to utilize the fact that you are able to take bases quickly. He should possibly, like, this is just me because I'm a very economically focused kind of player, I would possibly be looking at taking a 4th right now. You do need to be careful about Hellions doing some run bys and possible drops with Widow Mines from a mech player. But other than that, I mean, it's reasonably safe. You have a very mobile force, as we mentioned. We're still waiting for combat shields to come along for SirElgben. I'm not sure why he's missed that one on the production at the moment, but he does have a couple of upgrades on the way. +2 to weapons, +1 to armor, and +1 to vehicle weapons are all on the way. But still no combat shields. Where is it? He hasn't even... I don't know. He hasn't actually started it right now, which is a little bit intriguing, given that he is going for what looks to be like a... I think the Koreans still call this a bionic style, where you have some bio, but you also have some mechanical units, such as the tanks that are added in. So this is a little bit of an interesting play here from SirElgben. We can see that Dzerzhinsky is actually researching his +1 to vehicle weapons. He's also vehicle and ship weapons. He's got his high-sec auto tracking on the way. If you're not sure what this is for, this is to give you +1 range on auto turrets, missile turrets, and planetary fortresses, and point defense drones, which may or may not have a factor later on in this game. So SirElgben is now, he realizes there's a wall of turrets here that is blocking his entry in towards the main base. The tanks have now moved out. A couple of Vikings will shoot down the medevac that is here, and a really decent spread of tanks here for Dzerzhinsky. We're just sort of covering this area. The reason that we're not sort of clumping it up in one side or over here, or just clumping it up in the middle, is because we want to have a nice spread of the tanks firing down on all these positions that your opponent can come from. So the only real exposed point right now is some kind of possible drop that would come through into the natural across here, but I'm sure that Dzerzhinsky is going to be fixing that up very soon with a couple of turrets. I mean, he's always very diligent, as we said, very diligent with defense, and that's one thing which we will expect to see out of him very soon. But SirElgben, I'm not sure what the plan is right now. We've got a couple of tanks out in the middle of the map. The Bioforce is now really starting to build up. Combat Shields is finally being picked up there. He's remembered that one is there. +2 to armor, +3 to weapons, all on the way for our Bio-Terran player here from Flash B. And with his 4th Command Center on the way, like, again, this is kind of a situation, to me, when you're playing Bio, you really do need to stay ahead of your opponent. If your opponent has 3 bases, you need to be on 4, possibly looking for a 5th at this point, because as we said, the mech Terran player is going to be very immobile. We've got, you know, these slow Hellbats on the ground. We've got tanks that need to siege and unsiege. You need to be very careful of these things, and, you know, of course, as a mech Terran player, you need to be careful of those drops. If they somehow do sneak in, then you have to slowly unsiege stuff, and all the while your opponent can expand towards a 4th and a 5th base, as we can see here from SirElgben. So just sort of slowly plodding along in this game. No real massive attacks from either player. Of course, SirElgben put on a little bit of harassment right at the start. Dzerzhinsky was looking to get some more harassment, but his Hellions did get cleaned up during the start of the game. And as we can see now, Dzerzhinsky really moving into his element right now, where we're sieging up, we're protecting all the bases, getting the economy pumping right now. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4 starports. There we go. Normally does start to pick up the 3rd and the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th starports by the time the 3rd base is operational. Why do we do this? We need Vikings and Ravens as we move into the mid and late game of TvT. We'll get to why you need those Ravens shortly, but it looks as if SirElgben is going to look to push in here. He does scout out that his opponent has got a lot of defense here. He needs to be very careful. Some of these tanks may need to just sort of maneuver themselves across to this sort of position here, just to make sure that we are covering this line properly. We want to make sure that our opponent cannot siege up there, but a couple of Blue Flame Hellions have now made their way in towards the 4th base of SirElgben, and he is going to clean up quite a lot of these SCVs here. I'm a little bit surprised that none of these have been moved away, but Dzerzhinsky just targeting down some of the workers. He's killed off a few, not a huge amount, but the Planetary Fortress finishes. The Marauder is there as well to defend, and that's I would say that's the start of some harassment. Normally when you are playing mech, I do think it is a good idea to try and get some harassment done, whether it be just through a couple of Hellbat drops, or whether it's through you know, dropping a couple of tanks in your opponent's base to try and take down some of their production facilities, but you do have to be very careful about this sort of thing. But SirElgben is now preparing for a big air switch right now. Our Red Terran, where is it? Yeah, he's got the fusion core as well, and he's going to get partying with that very soon, no doubt about that. He doesn't actually, he's only got +1 on vehicle weapons, +2 is now on the way. but you can expect a big switch coming out of him right now. Yeah, lots of Ravens on the way. So we were mentioning Ravens and how you do need Vikings and Ravens through the mid-game. Mid-game TvT does generally turn into a sort of a Raven-Viking fest, and then occasionally people try out Thors, occasionally people will sort of stick with a ground-based army just assisted by Vikings and Ravens, but of course, a lot of the time, it'll turn into Raven, Viking, and Battlecruiser. And the reason you want those Ravens there is so that you can point defense drone some of the Viking attacks. You can also drop down Hunter-Seeker missiles on top of the Battlecruisers as well, and just try and explode them when they do clump up a little bit. And speaking of clumping, of course, Vikings are sort of kings of clumping up when it comes to big fights, because they just love to stick on top of each other and, you know, bit like a wingman kind of thing, that they just sort of stay on top of each other. But Dzerzhinsky is now looking to take his 4th base. He knows he's got to move out. His opponent is up to 5. He's got extra gas now coming in from this base down here. 10 gas is just beautiful to have when you're playing a little bit of mech, but also when you're switching to air, as SirElgben will soon be doing. He's now looking to push in here on this 4th base, trying to stop this one. Decent spread of the tanks, but the tanks get annihilated straight away. The Bioforce now pushing through. The Viking cloud of Dzerzhinsky is far more powerful, and with the assistance of point defense drones, he does look to clean up most of this. He wins in the air, but unfortunately does not win on the ground. This command center is going to have a very tough time getting out of there. It looks as if Dzerzhinsky wants to hang around to try and fight this. He could drop down a couple of auto turrets or Hunter-Seeker or something like that. But, you know, you look at this and you say, well, damn, you know, SirElgben actually lost a lot of units. Why, you know, why is he not getting a little bit frustrated about this? Well, the reason for that is that he can now build 6 battlecruisers. It opens up a lot of space in the supply, as we can see here. So 6 battlecruisers are on the way. I don't like these extra marines that are being built. Like, there is a bit of a transition time where you do need to be very careful when making battlecruisers, because you can get caught out. But I kind of feel like, you know, if you've got marines, what are you going to do with them? Like, they're not going to help you in a transitional phase. If you're going to have anything, maybe get some Marauders, and then just have like Marauder, Raven, and Viking or something like that. But I mean, at this point, it doesn't matter. The battlecruisers are now coming through. They've got their +2 on their weapons. Where is the armor upgrade? Now finally coming along. +3 on the ship and air and vehicle weapons is coming through from SirElgben too. So he's really pumping up those upgrades. Back over on Dzerzhinsky's side of the map, as we can see, his upgrades, not too bad, just +3 on the weapons right now, which I don't know, I'm a big fan of double upgrades when it comes to almost any race, any matchup. I think they're pretty cool. If and this obviously stems from me playing a little bit more of an aggressive economic style, but I kind of feel like double upgrades are a little bit of more of an efficient way. But Dzerzhinsky does have that very powerful air army out, which does allow him to buy some time to get his economy into a good shape, and then therefore be able to transition into late game with battlecruisers and his extra upgrades coming along shortly after. So, you know, it's a bit of a trade-off. You can say, can I get the armor upgrades, or can I get some more Ravens? Whichever one suits better, I am going to be able to do. And for Dzerzhinsky, he's gone for the extra Ravens to help him out in the air battles, but those Hellbats unfortunately not having the best of days. Sometimes I do feel like that transformation servos upgrade is just awesome. You can run in the Hellions inside a mineral line, transform over, make that sound that the Transformers make, and then switch over into Blue Flame Hellbats and just wreck mineral lines. But not opting for that just at the moment. Dzerzhinsky is now just still massively increasing that Raven count right now. Ravens are a huge factor, as we said, with their Hunter-Seekers and their point defense drones. 16 are out on the map, 3 more are on the way. There is the vehicle armor now coming through from our blue Terran player. But SirElgben, he's got the battlecruiser count. He's currently sitting at 9. He's got 5 Ravens though, and only 10 Vikings. Now, you sort of look at this and you say, well, Mr. Duck, what are you talking about? Battlecruisers are freaking awesome. They are, but you still need to be careful if your opponent has a high Viking count and a high Raven count at the same time, because when you mix these two together, you get a sexy, delicious meal of dead battlecruisers, because you have point defense drones to soak up Viking shots, Hunter-Seekers to drop down on those battlecruisers, and as you can see, look at this clumping. You drop a couple of Hunter-Seekers on that, and you know, yibbity yibbida, that one's all gone. So we can see now that SirElgben is just being very careful right now, trying to position himself for a possible flanking attack up here on the base, but you can see there are a couple of tanks there, a planetary, and some mines that are defending this base, All the while, Dzerzhinsky starting to sacrifice some of those SCVs. We can see he's dropped his count down to 45. You do not need SCVs in late game when you're playing mech, or even mid game. Hell, you don't even need them in mid game. But as we can see, he's going to drop that down even further, looking to attack this planetary. These SCVs are just in absolute boss mode right now, doing their best. They've done a whopping 200 damage to this planetary fortress, but they do get cleaned up. Somehow, some Hellions have made it through the gauntlet and have come down towards his 5th base here, and it looks as if, wow, SirElgben has lost some of his own SCVs, but unfortunately it's not in a method that is similar to Dzerzhinsky. We just need to look at the units, the buildings tab right now. There are 7 orbital commands available to Dzerzhinsky, along with the 5 for his opponents. So the reason we can sacrifice those SCVs as Dzerzhinsky is because we can use a lot of mules. We can drop down mules to mine out bases. We don't need the SCVs. All you need them for is for gas income. And now, as we can see, Dzerzhinsky starting to push on this position here. It was looking a little bit dicey due to the fact that he was having trouble getting his battlecruisers out, but as he slowly starts to whittle down the SCV count, he is able to crank out a couple of those BCs. We can see 3 on the way. We'll probably start to increase that count very soon as more command centers are added on. The battlecruisers from SirElgben are now making their way around, and you know, a lot of the Terror players are also saying, well, sometimes I have trouble when it comes to engaging in these kinds of fights. How do I deal with Raven Viking BC? You need to be very careful. You can't have the Ravens in the front. It is good to have the battlecruisers around the front, but also you need to get those Hunter Seekers out. And there they are. Drops the Hunter Seekers. They are coming out, and kaboom! Down go almost all of those battlecruisers of SirElgben. He loses all of that. There are a few left over, but they are flying over a field of death with those turrets there, and that is the power of having a lot of Ravens out, and obviously that gives you a good sight of what it looks like when you try and engage Viking Raven BC if you're not careful about positioning there. That was just an unfortunate side effect of everything clumping up there for SirElgben. I mean, the all of the battlecruisers were on top of each other, and thus all the Hunter Seeker missiles just splashed everywhere. It was crazy. It's like, you know, just being in a public pool and there's kids around everywhere. They just get splashing all over the place. But Dzerzhinsky is now starting to move forward. The battlecruiser count has now increased to 4. He's going to have a couple more coming out soon, but 23 Ravens are the key right now. 23 Ravens to 2. Of SirElgben. He's got a bunch more starports that have come out. He's trying to increase the Viking count as well. Just keep in mind that Dzerzhinsky is sitting on 3-1 with his upgrades, whereas SirElgben is now moving up to 3-3. So he's going to have that slight upgrade window for a short time, and just, you know, just popping out a lazy 10 battlecruisers right now to add to the total of 12 that he already has out on the field. But Dzerzhinsky looking to move forwards here, tries to drop a couple of Hunter Seekers down, but unfortunately he's not able to move down there properly. And now we may have another big battle here. Got to be very careful about this positioning here. As we said, Hunter Seekers, they've got to get out there for Dzerzhinsky, and they move out beautifully, knocking down a lot of the battlecruiser health, also some of the Vikings that were there as well, killing some of the SCVs on the ground. And Dzerzhinsky just coming along yet again and says, have some more Hunter Seekers, my friend. Destroys the planetary. There is still a huge cloud of Vikings here for Dzerzhinsky. He wins the air battle, wins the, well, I guess a positional battle here to take out this base, and puts him in a pretty decent position right now. Up there at 168 supply. He's actually lower than his opponent, but his opponent is now making Marines and Marauders, looking to switch back to Bio. And, you know, this is, I do like these kinds of switches here, but at this point, it starts to get very messy. You're never going to win an air battle if you are constantly lower in Vikings, not to mention lower on those Ravens as well. And it just starts to become a very messy thing because, you know, you may be able to get some bio forces out, but unless you're getting some just absolutely awesome, you know, run-by attempts to firstly knock down some tanks, kill off the planetary, and then kill off some of the economy, you're still going to have a hard time killing off battlecruisers and killing off Ravens and Vikings. And here we go. Dzerzhinsky now, again, dropping out some of those Hunter Seekers. SirElgben is actually doing a little bit better in this battle. We'd like to see him actually use his Yamato. He has not used his Yamato at all. He could really be shooting down some of these Ravens here. I'm really not sure why he's not doing it. Some more Hunter Seekers popping out. SirElgben looks to split, but does lose one of his battlecruisers and a Viking there as well. One of them is very low. And still, just a couple of Yamatos here would be beautiful, just to soak up some of the Ravens and just get rid of them, because he's currently sitting in this awkward position where every time he fights, he has to deal with the fact that Dzerzhinsky is just using energy to attack. He's not actually losing a lot of the... well, he's lost a lot of battle cruisers, I'll give you that, but he's not actually losing a lot of his mineral and gas investments. So Dzerzhinsky is actually... he's sort of... it's a much more efficient kind of way to play here, as you can see. But now Dzerzhinsky is going to have to deal with a large battlecruiser count. Will we see some Yamato cannon? Both players do have it. I'm not sure why SirElgben has not been using it. That has been a really key part of this game so far, is that he has not been using his Yamato despite having a massive battlecruiser count. And now we can see that SirElgben's gas count is starting to fall down. 400 gas left in the bank. Dzerzhinsky almost up at 1,000 minerals and 1,600 gas. So he's way ahead in the bank right now. I would like to see Dzerzhinsky take this base. It's very easy to protect. You can just, you know, set up your command center here or whatever. Set up a couple of turrets across to the side. You don't really need to turret this position here, because you can protect that by yourself with just some of the units that are already across at that base. But now we can see SirElgben is trying to move around. He's trying to gain position down here at the southern side of the map, but is not able to. Dzerzhinsky with his Venn diagram of we can see the sensor towers, just a Venn diagram of them in the middle here, and he is able to see what is going on everywhere. But now again, Dzerzhinsky finding a sweet spot here, getting inside this attempted 5th base, and is able to knock down some of the workers. The worker count for SirElgben is still sitting at 43, so he's still actually, he has a decent count of workers. It's just unfortunate that he's not able to mine off anything, because he's constantly being harassed by these little pokes with Hellions every now and then. And, I mean, Dzerzhinsky, there it is, now looking to take this 5th base, gonna set up a whole bunch of turrets. Of course, you know, you may be thinking, why would you set up turrets? You can just battlecruiser Yamato cannon these anyway and just shoot them all down. It still provides you with a little bit of time, because it means that the battlecruisers have to move into position, charge up, and then go for the attack. But as you can see, unfortunately for Dzerzhinsky, it looks like he will lose his base, which will mean that his mineral and gas income is going to be very, very light for a short time until he's able to shore that up. But he is able to take out a battlecruiser in the middle, will take out this command center as well, and that's a decent trade, I feel. If you're keeping the bio, well, semi-bio, semi-battlecruiser Terran down on bases, like as you can see from the income tab, we've actually got both players mining very little at this point. Dzerzhinsky, because he doesn't really have that many minerals, could drop down some some mules here. I'm not sure what the deal is with this base, but he's got a much more efficient army, because it's consisting of energy-based units, these Ravens, the battlecruisers, and the Vikings. Whereas for our red Terran SirElgben, each one of these units that he loses, unless he uses the Yamato cannon, is kind of an inefficient loss, if you will. So he can't get more gas, he can't get more minerals until he secures another base. And as you can see, he's finally looking to do that right now. Some Hellions are going to try and make their way through and investigate what is going on. They will find that base there, so you can expect some more secondary attacks coming along to that base very soon from Dzerzhinsky. And SirElgben is again looking to take this base in the middle here. These two bases in the middle are always hotly contested in every single longer game I've ever played on this map. And as you can see, Dzerzhinsky now moving forwards. He wants to secure this middle section here. I think we may actually see him look to take one of these middle bases instead. I kind of feel like it's a better purchase than this base at the late game now, because it takes a long time to get back there, and it sort of moves you out of position. But Dzerzhinsky now moves forward, takes care of the orbital command. Looks like SirElgben is looking to split up his units. That is a much better thing to see from him. We can now see the point defense drones have gone down. Yamato cannons coming out from Dzerzhinsky. Hunter Seekers as well. A couple more Yamatos are in the tank, but he is not using them. But SirElgben has refused to use his Yamato cannon. I'm not sure what the deal is with that. The Vikings at the back, sorry, are just tearing apart the top side of this battle, while the battlecruisers from both players have gone down. When you include the fact that the Ravens are still there for Dzerzhinsky, he is going to be a supreme winner in this battle here right now. Battlecruisers have gone down, Vikings have gone down, and Dzerzhinsky, he's still alive. He's got battlecruisers, he's got Vikings, along with all of the Ravens that are still here as well, which is still up at 20. So this game looks like this one may be in the books here for our blue Terran player. Dzerzhinsky's going to have to mark this one down very soon. Takes care of a sensor tower and is now looking to clean up this last base. Well, this is one of the last mining bases here, because as you can see, SirElgben has re-established this one, or he's kept this one the entire time, and has actually kept that one alive. But as you can see, with this one gone, that's a lot of gas that is now unavailable to the Red Terran player, and Dzerzhinsky now moving forward to secure one of these middle bases. And I think that, this one is not long to go, ladies and gentlemen, but it has been a crazy TvT, just sort of showing you some of the various nuances of playing mech versus bio, and then switching into a Sky Terran kind of style, choosing to take the advantage of the Sky with the Ravens and then the Viking count, then switching into battlecruisers later. It was Dzerzhinsky. He was up against a player who was able to get a lot of those of the battlecruisers out, but unfortunately did not use his Yamato cannon properly, and I kind of feel that did cost him this entire game. Battlecruisers will go down, both players actually losing the majority of their battlecruisers, and the Ravens are left over. A couple of Hunter Seekers will be left here for Dzerzhinsky to be able to clean this up. He will be forced to lift this base, but I think the game is over anyway. All of the bio goes down, and that will probably be it. This game is over, no doubt about that. We can see SirElgben, GG's out. Dzerzhinsky takes a victory here in this TvT on Heavy Rain. Hope you all enjoyed it. Please do subscribe. Make sure you tweet me at DuckvilleLol as well. I'll say hi if you say hi. Catch you all next time. Here, as you can see, 47 damage to bio units, and then the 34 damage against other standard targets. His storms have also been wonderful, just spreading them out across the battlefield, doing really nicely there. And for minigun, he's been sticking with a much more